now because I decided to use my VPN.
Ah,
Hi.
there we are. Yeah, I was
Hi.
literally about to text you saying that you need to accept the join request.
Yeah, I was accepted and I pressed it like constant most of the time and I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on? I am accepting you. What?
Okay,
So,
let me see how I can share it.
yes, let's. Even myself, I honest, um, I am not all the time going live. So if I honest, I was like experiencing at the same time issues because on my laptop it didn't allow me. Then, oh, let's see.
Yeah, it depends on how many people are available at this moment.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
I
Saturday
don't.
plus today
Mhm.
is International Women's Day. So happy International Women's
Ah,
Day.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Somdip. But apologies because of the. Anyway, I don't know.
No
My
worries.
computer
We
didn't
are
allow
here.
me. And then I tried on my phone, and then I don't know. It was a moment that the phone did not allow me to like invite you or something. I was like, that's weird. I mean, I just simply trying to have a small chat with you in a more informal way, and I'm like,
You
well, I
you
don't know what to
there?
make.
You're cutting off.
Yes,
By
yes.
the way, am I audible correctly? Because you are cutting off on my side.
Oh, really? Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
No, but I can hear you, but the screen is freezing, so I don't know whether it's your side or my side.
Really? I can
Yeah.
see you clearly all the time from my side at least.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Hey, we are
um,
here, so let's do it.
yeah, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. The thing is that I don't know how can I share this on because I wanted to share obviously on the other.
So, can you see beside the comment, you have the send arrow? You can copy the
Uh-huh.
link and send it to people whom you want to share.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Let's see if allows me to do so. You are not able to join, it says. Oh,
Hey, we are
hello.
live again.
Yeah, yeah. Hi again.
Hi. Okay, let's
that
continue
that is
with the
that's
session.
that's that is so funny if I honest with you.
Hey, second
the
time,
most the
let's
most
hope it
funny
goes
thing
well.
ever. Yeah?
Second time, let's hope it goes well.
Yeah,
Second
yeah.
time on live.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Today it's like the weirdest thing ever because if I honest with you, I decided to try it on my laptop, but then I needed to have other configurations going on, and I said, you know what, it's gonna take too much time to start like just simply talking and having a conversation on Instagram, and then I decided to share the link on on my WhatsApp or with other people that maybe would like to join, and then again suddenly the live
Yeah, I
stop
think,
or something.
and it's also one of
Yeah.
those times and dates, right? Most people might not be available. It's fine. We can have a
Okay.
discussion here and we can post the live video on our
Yeah.
profile.
Yeah, different profiles. Yeah, makes sense, completely sense. But yeah, thank you so much, Sandeep, for joining me and having time with me today.
No,
So
it's a pleasure.
today,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, today is a very informal, uh, discussion because obviously my idea was not to make it like too formal, but obviously we will talk about obviously about you, about your experience, as a speaker and things like that. So I just simply want to make it like a very enjoyable session. So
Great. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, that's great. So I would start with something that I think I didn't really have the opportunity to ask you, but I am curious about how did you come out with the idea of, the social media and how influences us and things like that? How did that idea come to you, or how the entire process happened? Because obviously then when I organize the event and then other people help me, to choose obviously your speech and your idea. Uh, from my perspective, yeah, I always thought, well, how did you, you know, come up with this idea? How did it happen?
Great question, Lisette. So first off, I have been doing research on the harmful effect of social media in general
Mm-hmm,
since 2021 because social media have evolved and have been evolving since it kind of came out. So
mm-hmm,
one thing I noticed that people's behavior in their daily lives, romantically or even with finances, their mental health, everything has been impacted because how people are using or interacting on social media. And I was one of those people as well. So I'm not an exception. And
mm-hmm.
I fell prey to how social media has been impacting all our lives. So I decided, no, I need to do something. So I started working on the technology side of it, that how
Mm-hmm.
I can build technology that can improve social media as well as social media usage. But
Mm-hmm.
that said, we need to make the harmful effects of social media more aware, like be more aware among the masses. And there is no other better platform than talking about it on TED platform or TEDx platform. So that's why I pitched you in 2023, and we finally got to do the talk in 2024. But this one is
Yeah.
only the beginning because I did tell you about the secret of the next talk, right? So I do not want
Yes.
to give that away, but yeah, just to let's say give away as an Easter egg, it's also related to social media and something to do with our lives as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a very interesting idea. For me, or at least I have talked about this with you, and yeah, I really like the idea. And if I honest, I think that even the community, I think they will enjoy when the idea is obviously enhanced and everything. But yeah, and you mentioned that at the same time you start this in the year 2023.
No, 2021.
Ah,
So I started doing
2021.
research. Yeah,
Oh my God.
2021, like
Oh,
in the middle of the pandemic. Yeah.
oh, okay, okay. So that's so interesting because obviously it's something that it intrigues me because obviously at the same time, uh, all of your research, you are obviously condensing all of that in one speech, and I think that is like as well something that is very, 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 very. Sometimes I think it requires a skill, and even myself, for example, as I organize the event, I know, that is like hard to reduce, these different, research or ideas, and obviously condense everything even in 10 minutes, that you decide to talk about all of these issues with social media and things like that. So for me, yeah, I'm impressed, if I'm honest.
Oh, thank you. I think I cannot take the full credit. It's mostly
Mhm.
uh, because of my experience. So I have been keynote speaker for almost a decade now. Like before this TED Talk, I also gave another TED Talk that was at the Colchester, like city level,
Yeah, yeah.
back in 2020. But before that as well, I've been keynote speaker at many major conferences
Yes.
and different platforms before that. I've also given podcast interviews or talks as well. But what a lot of people do not realize, actually, I have speech impediment. So, like I stutter. Uh, Moreover, because I'm autistic as well, uh, that does affect my thought process at times if I get distracted. Uh,
Uh, sorry to interrupt you, but I don't know, but I couldn't hear your last sentence. I don't know. I think it was the internet or something. I couldn't hear
oh,
the
sorry
last.
about that.
Yeah.
Can you hear me properly now?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I was basically saying that a lot of people do not realize about me is that I have speech impediment, uh, and I'm also autistic, dyslexic, ADHD. So
Mhm.
when I give speech, I do get distracted quite often. So I had to practice a lot. And the more you do public speaking, you realize what works and what doesn't work. Uh, and most importantly, also, you learn about how to tell a story.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
usually,
completely true.
usually what happens when people are giving their first public speaking event, it happened to me as well. It wasn't that great. However, we all learn from there. And one thing that I learned by giving hundreds of public speaking talks, uh, it's just how to condense your story that can actually people can relate to.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
while I was
that's
working
yeah
on this
makes
speech, it kind of helped me, all those experiences of the past.
yeah. I mean, makes completely sense because, for example, obviously in my case, I organize the event, and it's something that I recommend this with. Well, I am not going to point fingers to people, but I remember that I mentioned this. When you are delivering your obviously your speech, obviously it's very important to connect with your audience and talk a little bit more about you because I think it's gonna enrich the talk in itself and not in an egotistical way, because that's not the entire point. The entire point is to make you human and at the same time sharing the story in a way um, that is impactful, that it has that lasting message behind it, and people will resonate with that idea or that message behind it.
True. And related to TED Talk or TEDx
Hmm.
Talk, I noticed something that often happens among speakers. Okay.
Hmm.
When people get selected for TEDx Talk, usually, okay, first of all, I can understand it's a great, huge platform and a big achievement for a lot of people. So when they do get selected as a speaker, usually they try to create or talk about in a way or fashion where they can promote their business or their work. Uh,
Yeah, that's completely
you
true.
can notice from my talk, I have been doing research. I built several technologies that are today being used to keep social media users safer. But in my talk, not for a single time, I have talked about or promoted those works. It was
Yeah,
solely about the message that I'm trying to send, and the message is not about promotion, but more about an idea that is worth sharing.
yeah,
So
that's the
TEDx,
entire purpose. Yes,
TEDx,
you're completely right.
TEDx
Yeah.
theme, not theme, let's say TEDx motto is
Hmm.
basically ideas worth sharing, not businesses worth sharing, right?
Yes,
But oftentimes
exactly.
people fall in that trap that, okay, how can I promote my business through this stuff?
Yeah, that's completely completely true. Even myself, if I honest, sometimes I've been, even when I am, obviously, you know that at the moment right now, I am obviously organizing the next one. And obviously, I am in the process of selecting the best ideas. And that's the entire point. As you mentioned, this is not to have some type of selling agenda behind it, because it's about an idea that you believe is worth sharing. And this is very important because even for me as the organizer, obviously the TED team, they're gonna check, that I am following their rules, and then yeah, you're completely right on this. That even if it's hard, and even if certain people do not get it, I just need to be like completely honest, and I am say, if you are trying to sell something, sorry, this is not for you. You are not in the right in the right event, or in. I don't think I would choose. I speak, as someone that it has this type of speech going on, or that I am seeing this like agenda, let's say, because yeah, it's about
Yeah.
the idea that it has something important. But I think sometimes people misunderstand this, and they assume that it's supposed to like being some type of grandiose thing that happened to them, and sometimes it doesn't necessarily need to like being that type of talk, because sometimes I think it's important if the person analyzes, their lives in the, let's say, 5 years, and maybe in this time they have something that maybe it can help other people, if even it's just in mental health or productivity or things like that. And I think sometimes people like get this wrong, and they are assuming that they are supposed to, I don't know, win a prize or something. I don't know, weird things like that, or that they have like need to have like a lot of awards or something. And that's not necessarily the case. Obviously, I think at the same time it depends the event themes, because each event has their own theme and their own topic behind it. um but yeah, I think you are completely right about all of that. And
Also, quickly, I would like to point out,
mhm,
so there are specific TED events, okay, where it is fine to promote your work. For example, I will give you some of the TED conferences, like not TEDx, but TED conferences happen around themes like, let's say, artificial intelligence.
mm,
So, of course, the speaker who will be talking, they will be talking about the product or the innovation that they are working on, right?
mhm,
So, in that sense, if somebody talks about their journey and then promotes what they are building, that is
uh-huh,
absolutely fine. Now, first time when I gave my TEDx talk, I remember I read the book, which was Talk Like TED. And in that book, it did mention that choose one particular topic that people can relate to or relate with from the audience, and try to build up your story based on the experiences
mhm.
towards that. Now, again, I think any speaker who aspire to be a TEDx speaker or TED speaker, they should always keep this in mind. It's not about promoting their work or product or business. It's about the story that they can tell that most people can relate to.
Yeah, yeah, it's completely like true. And I am always, I am like this with the speakers, and that they are not supposed to share a TED talk if they are trying to sell something, or a political agenda behind it, or things like that, because that's not the purpose of it. And and if I honest now, like before we continue the conversation, you mentioned that you experience um, issues uh, with the way that you speak. You mentioned that with the DHD, I think it was, or ADHD. Yeah, I think it was DHD, and this type of experiences. And in my perspective, I honest, that shows that. your your way of your resilience, you're capable of, despite of these things that maybe others think, like maybe others assume that this is just simply something natural, that you just simply are capable as of have this ability of speaking, and then it's not your case, because it's something that you needed to develop and practice and things like that. And if you see someone that is in that same stage or their lives or moment, but they would like to in the future, like share a TED talk, or have a in the future go in there and speak, practice public speaking and things like that. Do you have any advice for them that it can be helpful
Yeah,
for them, so they can always
absolutely.
learn? Yeah.
See, this is one of my favorite topics. So again, I'm going to share something that this is the first time I will be sharing on a live or in a
Yes.
more public event.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm an introvert. Uh,
Yeah. Me too.
I
But
am
people sometimes, I think, yeah, assume that I am not. But anyway, yeah, yeah. Continue. Sorry. The thing is that I.
so I'm inherently an introvert.
Mhm,
Uh, I am dyslexic, so I have reading issues.
mhm,
Uh, I am ADHD, and
mhm,
recently, like I've been diagnosed with autism as well, and I have speech impediment, uh, which means I stutter a lot. Now, most people would not realize any of these. I'll tell you one thing,
mhm,
right? Uh, During this TEDx talk, right? If
mhm,
people closely notice my talk, the video that is shared, they will
mhm.
notice that oftentimes after finishing a sentence, I was looking down. Now people might be thinking, wait, is there a script down? Why is why am I looking down? But
Yeah.
it wasn't a
Yeah.
script. What
Yeah.
happened when we did the rehearsal on the theater? Not all of the lights which was in front of us, focusing on the speaker, they weren't on. But during the event, they were on. And one of the reason I also wear colored glasses, by the way, these are not sunglasses. These are special glasses. It's called color corrective glasses, which because I have astigmatism, so my eyes are sensitive to bright colors or very particular colors. And these glasses actually like reduce that brightness in a way. So during the event, when I was actually speaking, I was getting distracted because the lights were so bright. Uh,
Oh.
that's why I always have to like couple of sentence reset by looking down. Uh, that said, again, like for me, most people do not realize like I'm dyslexic. Yet I have multiple degrees, completed my PhD, and have written more number of research papers for my age and level in academia than most of the people in my cohort, like as peers. So my philosophy in life, whatever I'm weak in, I always try to do that more and more so that I can improve in that area. Similarly, when people meet me, they never realize I am inherently introvert, especially because I meet hundreds of people in a week. Uh, so they are like, okay, if you didn't tell me about this, we would have never suspected. Also, most of the time, people now do not also feel or like become aware that I have speech impediment. It's because I had to painfully go through the process of doing it over and over and over again. As the saying goes, right? Like you do it till you master it. So that has been my motto. Practice makes you better.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. That's, if I honest, for me, that's powerful in itself, because sometimes people assume that you're just simply, smart, or they're making this type of assumptions, but it's not the case. You are as well, you overcome your own your own, challenges, let's say. I think everybody has their own challenges, and they need to overcome uh, their own, let's say, tests, that we will have in our lives. And for me, it's very, very interesting, and I think it's very useful even for other people, or that maybe they assume that, or maybe they can be, like behave in a way that is not useful for them, thinking that they cannot achieve, a great life or the things that you have achieved. And I think that what you have shared with us, I think it can be very helpful and useful for other people, and even young people, because sometimes maybe it's normal, maybe they do not know what they want even to do, and then seeing someone that it has experienced all the things that you share with us, I think it's gonna, I think, even help them in a certain way.
To
Um,
add to this,
mhm.
sorry, Lisette,
Yeah, yeah,
just
sure, go for it.
just wanted to say that oftentimes I see when I meet people, especially the younger generation, right?
Mhm.
Yes, some are very confident. Like some, let's say, although usually I do not use quantification metric or quantity based or quantifiable metric to
Mhm.
measure anything, but this is as an example to give a bit more idea. Let's say an average person, they might have average skill sets. So average, let's say 5 out of 10. Doesn't matter in what.
Okay.
But sometimes
Mhm.
they have confidence. They will think, oh, I have 12 out of 10 in that skill set. Now, usually you will notice that oftentimes these type of people do end up like achieving a lot in their life, even if they are average. So when I analyze such people, then I realize confidence does play a key role. Even if you're not good at it, try to build the confidence to try. See, I have tried things, forget about just public speaking,
Mhm.
anything in my life. I have tried, even if we do not consider how many times I have tried something, if we only consider how many times I have failed in something, most people haven't even tried that particular thing. So, anything under this sun and moon, most of the things I've already tried, and I'm only 34. It's because I want to gain experience, and if I'm not good at it, I can improve through working at it. So most people, and at the end of the day, they end up only saying, let's say, I gave a TED talk that became popular, but they didn't say how many other hundreds of keynote talks I gave. Some of them were really good, many of them not that good. Uh, I like right now, how many? Eighth or ninth company. I'm on my eighth or ninth company. Uh, Out of all the companies that I did for like over 10 years now, only two companies were successful. Many others failed. So most people know about those companies when they look at news, but most people do not really hear about the failures. Not that I'm not talking about it. I do share every aspect of my life, especially failure, rather than my success. But oftentimes people forget because now this takes back to the, remember during my talk I mentioned about the man in the car paradox. Like
Ah,
when
yeah, yeah.
people see a Ferrari, they remember that because in their head they aspire to own a Ferrari like that, right? So it's the same thing. When people see other people succeeding, many people end up remembering the success is because they themselves want that success in some ways. But
Yeah.
I have
If I
failed.
honest,
I've
can I say
failed more
something?
number of times.
Yeah.
Okay, just to complete this one.
Yeah, yeah,
So
sure, sure, go.
just to
Right.
summarize, I failed more number of times than people even just try it once. And I've tried so many times that like I can't even count in numbers. So my advice to younger generation, if I can do it with so many issues, anybody can do it. So
Yeah.
at least try.
If in my perspective, you're completely right. Because I don't know, in my perspective, this is my way of thinking. I think this is normal for human beings. We all the time we are going to pay more attention to the negativity around us, and you can see this, for example, in a very simple thing in our lives. Let's say that a car accident happens. People they're going to even stop to look at what happened and see, oh, what's this disaster that happened. But then when they start to like think about other positive things that are going on even in their lives or things like that, they sometimes they do not prioritize this and they just simply focus in this car accident or all these other things that are not really important because they just simply want to survive and live their lives. And for me, it doesn't make any sense, like only focus on all of those things. I am not saying that you're gonna have these things going on, but I don't think it's not the only thing that you're supposed to focus your mind. I don't
Um,
know what
but
what you think about.
it's only human, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, let's
mm-hmm.
say, imagine this. Car accident might be a bit too extreme and also
Yeah, yeah,
close to my heart in a way. But
yeah.
let's take an easier topic or example that people can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say a person is in relationship. The person is really successful in their
Mm-hmm.
careers. They are highly educated or educated as per se. Everything they have really lovely like loved ones, like friends and family. But then things happen, and let's say that person going through breakup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that person, even if he or she is the most amazing person in their own ways or in their own right, but they can only focus on that they are broken up in the relationship, right? For the time being. And that's absolutely fine because that's being human. When we go through pain, doesn't matter small or big, we are going through pain. We do feel the consequences emotionally, and that does impact or affect our lives. And that's absolutely natural. If somebody didn't do it, I would be a bit concerned. Either they're sociopathic or psychopathic.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. I completely.
jokes apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, and car accidents. See, my parents went through car accident multiple times.
Oh
Uh,
my God.
I think,
Sorry about it. I maybe
yeah.
looked like very. Yeah, I
So,
mean, yeah.
uh, so I can completely understand. See, I have had a good life, but when that happened in my life, right? I wasn't thankfully in the car accident, touch wood, but my parents were multiple times, not just once. It happened like long time ago as well. So just to
Oh,
give quick like reference, when I was 7 year old, my mom went through a car accident and she lost her left arm,
oh
and
my
then
God.
bionic
I'm so sorry about
arm
it.
needed. Thank you so much. Bionic arm needed to be like installed. She became disabled because of that. And then when I was 21 and up in Manchester doing my masters,
Mhm.
my parents went through another car accident that actually paralyzed my dad. And my dad died a couple of years ago because of that prolonged accident.
Oh my God, I'm so
It
sorry
has
about that. Um,
always, uh, thank you, Lisette. It's not your fault. So there are always bad drivers. Unfortunately, not everyone is conscious about their driving skills anyway, or how they should behave on road. But that said, uh, again, I was heartbroken. It took me time, it took me therapy to kind of go through or overcome that process of not thinking about car accident just because you gave that example. The same reason I used to drive before I was 21, but after this accident happened in the family, I didn't drive for 31 years. Sorry, like till I was 31. So almost for 10 years, I stopped driving because I was going through therapy. Every time I take the steering wheels, it reminds
Hmm.
me what cars or roads have done to my family. So I'm thinking, I do not want to be in charge or be responsible if something happens to someone else. So that's why I had to overcome that. I had to build my confidence that no, I am a good driver. So it took me almost 10 years to get back behind the steering wheels. Although I have never been in an accident, touch wood so far, and I really hope it doesn't. But again, road is something you never know. Anything can happen at any time. All we can do is at least be cautious about how we drive. But again, just to go back on the example, we humans, when we go through disaster or something bad, it's absolutely natural to be just worried about that and not be thinking about what good we have in our lives in the other aspect. But yes, after some time, we need to take responsibility and then realize that, hey, shit happens, excuse my French, but there are
Yeah.
other things in our lives which are worth cherishing, which are worth focusing on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's completely true. Yeah. Yeah. All of the time, I think, yeah, we have something that we can be grateful for. And I mean, I don't know, maybe it's like a cliche type of thing to say, but I think it's very useful. And even in an individual level, or even in a community level, if everybody does this type of things, I think at the end, even if you experience hardships in your life, if you're really grateful at least every day for at least one, two, three things each time, you are going to experience your life in a completely different way,
Absolutely.
despite
You
all
know,
the.
yeah, you raise a really great point. So before going bed, I have been
Mhm,
practicing this since I was a child. Especially the first time I started practicing this, I will tell you what, but I'm giving a quick backstory. So
mhm,
when I was 7 years old, my mom went through a motor accident. So, and she went through major surgery, like where the doctors really fought to keep my mom alive. That's why today I shared a reel on International Women's Day that why I am so grateful for my mother because she was in hospital for months and I wasn't allowed to see her for also a long time because she was going through surgery and then recovery. So what I used to do is every time before going to bed, I used to pray to God, wherever or whoever that entity is. So I used to pray to God that please keep my mom alive and happy. I want to see her again. I was 7 years old, right? And
oh,
I still kind of
oh,
practice the same thing now that I'm 34.
yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
but that said, that kind of practice, through that practice, I also started doing other things. Like, let's say, throughout the day, I interact with different people, but at the end of the day, I always reflect on what I did right, what I did wrong, and how I can improve. So I will go through the whole day again through my head. And then if I did do something wrong, usually I always reach out to the person either that time or if it is that time, like if it is late, I will reach out to the person later to say sorry. Because again, being autistic, I often do not interact with the world as so. For me, I have to replay the scenarios to understand did I do it wrong or did I do it right? And if I did it wrong, how can I improve going forward? And at the same time, when I think about what I did right, I also think about what I am truly grateful for in my life. So I practice that gratitude. Uh, Looking back at like where I come from, right? I was born in a very humble. However, because of my parents' sacrifices and what they did, they built their full life back in India. Then that kind of showed me that through hard work and doing things right towards others around you, you can build a better life for yourself. And this, I took the same philosophy and I moved to the UK. And I've been trying to practice the same to like for my own life as well. But that said, again, for me, oftentimes, like right now, yes, I do see myself as success in many ways, but at the same time, I feel grateful for what I have, whatever I have, is because I remember that where I was born and how my upbringing was.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that even moving forward, I never forget my roots because usually I've seen, so being in the entrepreneurial world, a lot of my friends are very successful uh,
Yeah.
to the level that people literally like if there is genie and genie said what you would want and the some people would say okay, can
Yeah.
we trade life with these successful people.
Oh my
So
God.
these successful
Yeah.
people, uh, oftentimes I see that money, power, influence, these change them. They oftentimes forget where they came from. And the only thing I pray for myself that whatsoever happened, if I even have to walk away from power or money, I would rather do that than to forget the person I am in my core and where I came from. That's it. And I only can hope that others will also take some like let's say consideration from this particular advice of mine, because if you let money, power, or influence dictate your life, you become no less than a monster in certain ways. So in a wording or anybody,
That's
I would rather be kind.
that's that's very powerful, I think, because I think it's very simple to just simply because you are becoming more influential or famous and decide, just say that your roots are not important and things like that. And fairness is something that I agree with you because I don't know, I maybe it has to do at the same time. I think even with the way that I was raised, or I don't know, but for me, yeah, it was very important to preserve my roots at the same time. Even if it's true that I speak obviously Spanish and obviously I'm having this talk and this chat with you in English. Obviously, I think it's something that all the time I'm trying to remind myself of where I'm coming from, and it is something that I think my mother at the same time always reminded me. It doesn't matter where, what you can achieve, this, even if it's small or if it's big, but you just need to know where you're coming from and with your family, what are your roots, and I think it's even in the future, if, as you mentioned, in your case that you've been like successful as an entrepreneur, at the end of the day, if you have that type of compass, that compass inside you, I think is going to dictate your life in a completely different way. As you mentioned, other people, they decide to, because of power or influence or other things, they just simply forget about where are they coming from, their families, the story behind it, and then I think you create these successful people that in a certain way they lose a sense of perspective or even reality. I think, because if you are thinking in that way of power or that influence is important, I think then maybe I think you're gonna have that moment that maybe you're not grounded even in reality, and then you start like making assumptions or even becoming arrogant in the process, I think.
Yeah, but
And
okay, first
yeah.
of all, just to clear up, I do not think I am successful as an entrepreneur, especially because, again, I choose in most of my companies
Mhm.
or any company that I started, I always choose value over profit. However, especially when you're trying to raise funds from investors, that doesn't look good because investors, even if they like, let's say, invest 1,000 pound, I'm giving let's say, a
Mhm.
small amount so that people can understand the scale.
Mhm.
So investors, if they invest 1,000 pound today, in 3 to 5 years, they expect their 1,000 pound to become 100,000 or 1 million at least. Now, when I reach out to potential investors, I always tell them, see, you will gain money, but it's not what you are thinking. Plus, it's not going to happen right now. Like in 3 to 5 years. Because again, let's say with my company, Nosh Technologies, right?
Mhm.
Our vision or goal is to reduce food waste and hunger around the world. But you cannot do that by making profit from the products that we are doing. Uh, by profit, I mean exponential profit, right? If we
Yes.
put up a paywall, let's say on our app,
Mhm.
which cost usually these days most of the subscription, even like Twitter Blue or Twitter subscription, right? Just to get
Mhm.
a check mark and what so less advertisement, not even no advertisement, but less advertisement.
Mhm.
Just for this feature, you pay around 11 or 12 pound a month. That's how Twitter runs, right? So
Yes.
these features are useless. However, if you don't pay, now Twitter literally doesn't like uh, even like show your tweets to even your followers in a way. They rank you very low. But again, these show that yes, if we put such paywall where we are charging, let's say, 10 pound on our Nosh app, realistically, only very few people will be subscribing to our app or use our app, which realistically wouldn't like reach that impact of actually reducing food waste and hunger. That the vision that we have. Rather, we want to empower normal consumers to be able to use our app without such paywall and effectively manage their food waste. So we have paywall on certain features, but again, we charge for those features according to what value we are bringing to our consumers. But oftentimes, when we show these to, let's say, investors, they, well, run away on the other side, especially because they are thinking in next 3 to 5 years how we can like make more money, right, from the
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So we as a company with Nosh, we do lose a lot of opportunities of raising fund. However, in the entrepreneurial world today, people measure success of a company usually by turnover or how much fund they have raised. We even have the term unicorn, right? Usually that raise hundreds or billions of dollars and they have that valuation in billions. They're called unicorns. So just wanted to say, I personally wouldn't say in among my friends that I am a successful entrepreneur, but I also know a lot of people look at me and they feel that I'm successful. So I'm being pragmatic in that sense. So yeah, but I do feel where I'm successful at. if people really ask me, is coming up with ideas or inventions that haven't been done before. So I'm really, really proud of my scientific career in a way.
Very, for me, it's like a very interesting your perspective, because that I'm seeing you, for example, when you come to the university campus and you have you you share your insights with the other students, and they obviously in a certain way they look at you in a way that reflects in a certain way that they see you that you have achieved a success that they haven't. And I don't know, I think in my perspective you are a little bit harsh in yourself, because in my perspective, even if you are not making like lots of profit as you mentioned, not every person is gonna, even create their own business. A lot of people prefer just work for others or not take the risk, because that's the entire point with people decide to, have this entrepreneurial spirit going around them. They do not want to, let's say, live the comfortable life of, you know, in a working for another person, paying them like a stable income. I think that's the risk, right? And then obviously something that is very well known, that then even you're gonna have businesses that they are not going to success, or they are not going to like being successful, or not gonna be around even after, I think it's like 3 years, I think. Others maybe like in 10 or 5, 10. That and I don't know. I think the ones that achieve that thing, I don't think is something that you can take away from, even from you or from others, that they have been
Yeah,
there for in the long run.
no, you're absolutely right. So that's why I mentioned that I am always pragmatic in my thinking and
Hmm.
my choices. I'm more on the realistic side.
Hmm.
So I do realize and I do appreciate that a lot of people do think that I've done few things that are worthy or like in a successful level. But
Hmm.
that's why I say, like, at least do it, try it. If you fail, you fail. It's fine, and you wouldn't have any regret about that because you will know you gave your best. So at least, like you tried, you gained experience from it, and if it didn't work out, that's fine. There are many other things or many other ways people can gain success in their own fashion. That's it. One thing, like all, I would also like to mention that uh, earlier we were talking about that we should, like everybody should at least give it a try, right?
Hmm.
So from
Yes,
my
yes.
life, again, just to reiterate that if you want to really pursue something, just do it. Even if you fail, that's fine. Uh, Quickly, would like to mention a story. So when I was 16, I used to volunteer. This was back in India. I used to volunteer at old age homes. So that gave me the opportunity to communicate or talk to a lot of people who are over 70, over 80 years old. And they were in these care homes where their kids or grandchildren sometime would visit, but many times they don't even have any more families. So I used to always ask them that, what's your biggest regret? Or do you have any regret? One thing I realized, every single person, they always had some form of regret. That could be, oh, I wish when I was 20, I didn't ask her out, like their love interest. Oh,
That's completely.
I wish I spent a bit more time with my family when I was younger, but I spent the time more about like earning money, spend more time at office. So their regret was not spending the time
Mhm.
with their family when they were younger. But these are only few examples. This goes on and on. But the general summation or summary of what I realized that everyone has regrets. Now, I, ironically, I vowed myself since then that I do not want to have regrets. But that said, now reflecting back, it has been almost like 14 years, like 15 years, more than that, since I like made that pledge to myself. But I realized, yes, I have minimized the number of regrets I have today, but there is still some form of regret that will life. So when I say that at least try things, even if you fail, you will learn something from it. But I also want to be practical about it that yes, you might also have regret, but at least you would know that
At
you
least you
gave your
try.
best.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's the
Exactly.
difference. That at least you know that you try. It was not that you didn't because of, I don't know the reason, but that's what makes it different. Because even if you did not succeed on it, the idea that even you try despite all of it is completely different. If you're constantly thinking or having this idea that you want to create, or I don't know, let's say as we were talking about businesses, you have this idea constantly in your mind, but even if you don't try at least to get it done in reality and how everything works out. um, the difference is that at least if you put that idea into reality, maybe it works, and then you do not have the regret, or the opposite. It's not successful, but at the same time, anyway, you did it, and then even if you start like working in a different thing or you start a different business, at least you know that at least you try, and you even if you die, I think at least you're gonna have a different mentality, because you are not going to live with a regret inside of you of
Yes.
what it could have happened, or what if, having these what ifs in your mind constantly telling you that maybe you should try it in that time or in that moment, but you didn't. So I
Yeah,
think it's
absolutely.
very
Absolutely. I agree.
yeah, so I think it's completely like different than doing in that way, even if it fails or you don't succeed. But you cannot say that you regret something if you die
Great.
at the end.
Absolutely. So, should we wrap this up, Lisette?
If I'm honest, I was having another question for you.
Oh, please go ahead then.
So this one as well, because obviously we were talking about your life and other things that you experience in your life, and I think it was very interesting. Even the people that, even if after the life ends, they will meet obviously yourself in a more personal way. And obviously it's the reason I decided to have this type of live or this session with you. But then my going back to TED and TEDx and things like that. My my question, I think, it's not like a very complex question, but what is your advice for someone that would like to become a TEDx speaker? If you can tell them in one sentence what it could be, that sentence that you can give them for them to, become a speaker. So, do you have like,
Oh,
obviously we were talking about a lot about obviously your life and experiences and all the things that you overcome, but what it could be, with this sentence is not like practical advice, but I think it has to do more in how to achieve that, how to overcome all of those obstacles to, then go and say, this is my TEDx talk, or this is what I want to share. What is that advice that you can tell someone if they are in a
Uh,
different journey of their lives?
again, we already covered this. However, I will. first of all, since you asked, okay, one sentence, right? So I'm
Hmm.
going to blatantly
Like a
steal
summer.
Nike. So I'm going to blatantly steal Nike's motto. Just do it. Okay.
That's
But
a
just
good
to
one.
give a bit more context,
Mhm,
what people don't
mhm,
realize, right? Like, doesn't matter
mhm,
whoever that is. Although I do not
mhm.
believe in the concept of average, excellent, or not so good, but people oftentimes do kind of put themselves or others in these type of boxes. Uh, First of all, I would say don't do it. Don't put yourself or anybody else in such boxes because you're trying to now evaluate or compare with people who are not in your shoes or you are not in their shoes. But moreover, a lot of people think that, oh, I don't have a story. My life is so average. What people do not realize, nobody nobody's story is the same. Nobody's story is average because except you, no other person on the planet have lived in your life or have lived in your shoes. Everybody has
Yeah,
a story. You just have to find the angle that is worth talking about or worth sharing.
yeah, yeah. I completely agree. I think sometimes we start to think, oh, I should post. Even I've heard this from speakers. They come and say, oh, I should do this and this, so then people will listen to me and things like that. But then, as you mentioned, at the same time, it's important about you, who you are, and what you can bring to the people and the stage or the people that will be with you and listen to your story. And yeah, I think you're completely right. Every person has experienced their own lives, and it's something that no one can replicate that. In a certain
Uh,
way, all of
yeah.
us we will have our own ways, or even or upbringing. That's just a very simple thing that I think sometimes we think is like normal, or we maybe assume things, but it's not the case. Every person has their own upbringing, and and I think that's important how we share that story with others. Sorry.
You okay? You
Then I
need
have
some water?
yeah, I was drinking water, so yeah, thank you so much. Then
No, just to
I have
put.
another.
Oh,
Mhm.
sorry. Go ahead. No, I was
Yeah,
about to
yeah.
make a joke. I think I did. Usually, I do not believe in luck. Okay, I believe in
Mhm.
creating my own opportunities. That's why I work hard. Usually, I do feel that opportunities never landed in my feet, and everything I own in my life is because I tried
Mhm.
or went for it. Uh,
Mhm.
but because I do so many things, I think I did get lucky in all getting all the bad lucks. And bad
Mhm.
lucks are really good for stories.
Yeah. Sometimes I think a lot of people will use it. I mean, it's not the first time, even if
Yeah.
it's like a bad
So,
thing.
so usually I wouldn't recommend people going
Yeah.
like going for or searching for bad luck. It's not that good. So that's a disclaimer.
No,
But yeah, personally, I do
don't
feel
do
lucky
it.
that ended up I ended up being lucky because I have been through so much bad luck. Because they make great stories, especially for TED Talks.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean a little bit of drama there, right?
Exactly. Hey, who doesn't like drama, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. So now I have a different question. I mean, it has to do with Ted and things like that, but it has to do with the future. How do you see the future? Your future as a person, as an individual level, but then as a collective. How do you see the future of us here, let's say in 10
Um,
years?
I do not want to give things away. I do have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for me, I do plan everything. However,
Mm-hmm.
also I learned from my own life, whatever I have planned have never gone into like reality. Some of the things work, some of the things don't, and your plan changes or evolve accordingly. So without giving much, all I can say that stay tuned. Definitely everybody can expect something different over time from me. That's one thing I can share now. But yeah, I also do not want to like give away what things I'm working, or else it will ruin the surprise. So I will keep it as a surprise for the people who are actually interested.
Hmm. Yeah, if I honest, I think I agree with your approach because even myself, I have my own ideas of what I want, but I think I'm not going to share that yet. Not because I have like a problem. I don't know. Sometimes there is a say that just simply do your thing and let them people talk till it happens, and then will people will judge that.
But to be fair,
So
personally, I never care about what people
yeah.
think. I do
Hmm.
things because somebody around me
Hmm.
need that particular thing. My whole life
Hmm.
I've spent to build solutions using either
Hmm.
technology or through talks or raising awareness. But
Hmm.
all of those things, like my work, they revolve around helping others around me. For me, that's the only thing I care about. But if people, where there are many people who do talk negatively about my work, I just don't care personally. If they if they don't like it, they don't like it. It's fine. I don't really care what they think. I made it for certain people. If those people benefit from it, I'm happy about it.
Hmm. In my perspective, I think your approach is the right one. Um, because I don't know, I think maybe others just get pissed off of what others can think of them or things like that. And I think you're approaching everything in the right way.
Thank you, Lisette.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that kind word.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for example, yeah, sometimes um, people focus too much in what others people can think about them, and then they lose that sense of just looking inside them and just simply thinking what they really want, not what other people can think or in the way that others can judge them. And as you mentioned, sorry my vocabulary, but they can fuck off themselves and don't. You just need to live your lives in your terms. And if the others do not like it, just fuck them and just live your life in your own way. And that's it. I think you're completely right on that. And I think it's like it's a very um, sane way of living our lives. Because imagine if you are just constantly thinking of what this person can think about you or things like that. I think you cannot even like properly function as a individual if you're doing that all the time.
Absolutely, I agree. So
So,
for a long time, I realized that.
mhm,
Uh, so I completely stopped. Yeah, I do care, let's say, what my family thinks about, or some
mhm.
of my close friends, what they think about. But in general, in public, I don't care. Because again,
Yeah.
we have to realize that oftentimes people are being negative towards you or your work. It might not be related to you, but it might be related to them. They might be feeling low on that day, or they might be in a situation that make them being negative towards others, or it might be pure envy. You never know, right? Because we are
Yes,
not
you
in their
never
shoes.
know.
So
Yes.
usually I just, if they say something negative, it goes through 1 year's and like come through 1 year, goes through another one. I literally don't
Mhm.
care. But yeah, you are right as well on this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's something that at the same time I agree. If I honest, if I just need to take the judgment seriously of people around, I think it's gonna be only my family or very the closest ones to me, Not people that they do not know me, they do not care about me, and they start making judgments or assumptions or pretending that I'm supposed to live their life in their terms when I am thinking the opposite. I'm just supposed to live my life on my terms and what is important to me and not to them, you know? Even
True.
if this is pieces of other people, but
You cannot make everybody happy, so why even
exactly,
bother, right?
exactly why you bother to do such a
Yeah,
thing.
used to be people pleaser when I was younger. I realized you can never make everybody happy. So I only focus on making people happy whom I really care about.
Yeah, you're doing it in the right way, I think.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Lisette.
I think it's more healthy in a perspective to just to simply, thinking about this or this, and then that's not important. And I think it's even worse if even it stops you to do things that maybe are very important for you and that even can beneficiate you in the long term, because you are only thinking of what this person or what these other people cannot think about you. And then
Yeah,
if you forget about that and forget about they can say or whatever, you just can simply live your life and
yeah, absolutely. Although, sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm at a Starbucks right now, and they are cleaning up the floor, and I'm
oh
getting distracted because so very soon they will be kicking me out.
oh
So yeah,
oh
just to
oh
let you know.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think our chat it was very useful. I think, and I think even the people that will listen to this later, I think they will, enjoy all the things that we have shared today. And um, and then, for example, yes, I think most of the times people, as you mentioned, people we just simply assume that your life it was perfect, that nothing happened to you, and then just simply like remember all the things that you have done right and that you, let's say, have achieved a level of success, and then they're gonna forget about maybe when you were, experiencing something very badly and not everybody knew about it or was aware of it, and and then as they do not know you, then maybe yeah, because sometimes this can happen. Then the funny thing is that when everything works in the best way possible to you, then suddenly certain people start like have this like interest, about your life, but then in the past they were never there, and they basically they do not care, and then suddenly it's like very interesting, when you are start having very interesting things going on, then suddenly certain people can start like getting attention or again like interested in what you're doing. But they do not know the process, what you experience,
Yeah,
what challenges you face in the process, and then they just simply can talk whatever they want, but then in reality they do not know who you are
absolutely.
or all the
Yeah.
things that you have done or achieved or
Yep. Absolutely, I agree.
mhm.
Great.
But yeah.
So, Lisette, it has
Mhm.
been a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much for hosting me, and it's also like thank you for allowing me to share some advices that I think hopefully will help others.
Yes, and thank you so much for your time, and apologies because of the technical issues that I experienced with the
Oh, no, no,
laptop
no.
and things like that. But
Absolutely, do not worry about that.
yeah,
It's also my fault. Like there has been some miscommunication. Happens, right? Do not worry about it. You did an amazing job organizing the previous TED Talk, and I am super excited for the next one. We will see.
yeah, me too. Me
But
too. Me
hey,
too. I
that
am. I am excited, but obviously at the same time,
yeah,
I just have a lot of things to get done at the same time. But I hope that everything works in the best way possible, and that obviously the speakers are happy. The people that attend to the event is happy. And everybody's happy at the end. And even if it's in a very humble way, or events, because that our events are not, these grandiose type of events
Yeah,
that we can, create that space for them that is is helpful, and obviously when the event finish, they have something useful that they can relate to when they leave the venue, and that's
absolutely.
I think at the same time
Yeah,
important.
absolutely. Anyhow, I wish all the best. You always have my support as well towards TEDx event, and we'll catch up with you again, like about the TED Talk in some time. The next TED Talk that's going to. I
I
also
mean,
feel.
so I don't know. Sandeep, I cannot hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh, sorry, you froze. I
Yeah,
said
I
that.
don't know what happened, the internet or something.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you the last, I
Yeah,
don't know, maybe two, three sentences.
they are
Yeah.
definitely going to kick me out now. So all I can say, stay tuned, and both of us will be back in the next TEDx.
Yeah, but yeah, do not forget that you just need to submit everything, right?
Yeah, I
You
do.
know the process. I just need to
Yeah,
be fair with everyone. So you just need to
absolutely,
follow the process.
absolutely. Okay, thank you so much, Lisette.
Yeah, thank you so much for all of the people that join us today with us. And thank you, Sandeep. And I hope to see you in the future. Bye.